Before this video starts, I just want to give a massive shout out to all my channel members. If you want to receive a shout out, then become a channel member today and you'll be shown on screen like all these other channel members here. Anyways, enjoy the video. On September 29th, version 14.7 dropped in the Japanese version and dropped on October 21st for the international versions. This update contains a lot of content and I want to talk about everything that was added in this version. Since we have loads to cover, all I ask is if you enjoy this update analysis, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment what was the most exciting thing about this update was for you. Anyways, let's get into the new content. All units discussed here will use their level 30 stats. The first new unit added is a brand new monster gal, this being Flame Mage Sidmi. Sidmi is a red floating CC tank with Sage Slayer. She sports a beefy base 153,000 health, giving her an effective 765,000 HP against her targets. She sports a multi-hit, with each hit dealing 21,250 damage for a total of 42,500 damage. Each of her hits has a 50% chance to slow for 5 or 6 seconds. She also sports Sage Slayer and Weaken Immunity. Sidmi is a pretty decent unit for the role she finds herself in. With that gigantic health pool, she is able to stall out a bunch of red and floating enemies if they attempt to push. Unlike Cat Machine, who is a melee tank, Sidmi is a mid-range tank, so the bulk is valuable for different reasons. Sidmi's slow is also fairly solid, with an effective 75% chance to activate at least once across her 2 hits. She can stall out speedy enemies like Bun-Buns, Cyclones, and Boars to name a few examples. Sidmi also sports Weaken Immunity, which is mainly helpful for Hanya, as this prevents her damage from being dampened by the boss. Being a Sage Slayer gives her the bonus of also being able to fully slow Dr. KO and easily shrug off Albrally. Against general sages, her health and damage go to 306,000 HP and deals 51,000 damage. When facing floating and red sages, this health boost jumps all the way up to 1.53 million health. She's also a fairly decent option for both Soractis and Newton, as she still has the health to stall out Soractis and deal meaningful chip damage in a single life cycle. Though her 131 second cooldown does mean that there's a good amount of downtime where she isn't active. For Newton, their much slower attack rate allows Sidmi to stall for even longer. She can also help with the low Bun-Bun. The main issue is the Angelic Gory, as this ape can quickly shred her health. Overall, Sidmi is a solid red floating unit in terms of both acting as a mid-range tank and a CC unit, having several opportunities to stop the front line. Then we have a new unit that is tied to the Japanese online Battle Cat store, Manager and Clerk Cat. The best way to describe this unit is a rogue cat for metal enemies. At level 30, they sport a base 59,500 HP, which translates to an effective 297,500 health. This unit also comes with a 100% chance to freeze metals for 1 or 1.2 seconds and knockback immunity. For metal stages, this unit can prove very useful, as the raw tanking power with the fast cooldown of only 10 seconds can make it difficult for metals to push. The freeze can stall for even longer, and the knockback immunity prevents Super Metal Hippo from pushing as well. This unit is also a special unit, so it can even be used in 4-star stages. In order to get this unit, you have to register yourself at the Nyanko Daishoten online store, though this unit is a Japanese exclusive unit. This update sees the return of the Street Fighter collab, and along with it comes some brand new units. The first new unit is Cammy, who sports insane damage versus aliens with a 30% chance to dodge. She is effectively an alien version of Ultra Atlantis Logistics with low base stats but insane specialized stats. She sports 32,000 health and deals a base 15,000 damage, but this damage shoots up to 91,000 damage with 28,000 DPS. In stages where aliens are the main threats present, she proves to be an extremely powerful attacker, making quick work of most enemies. The dodge is mainly to give her some survivability. Then we have Juri, who is strong against floating and angels with both Behemoth and Colossus Slayer, as well as freeze, slow, and immunities to wave and weaken. Juri is a fairly strong unit for her targets, as at level 30, she sports a good health stat of 110,000. She deals a multi-hit, with her first hit dealing the main bulk of damage, dealing 38,000 effective damage. If she lands all 3 of her hits, she's dealing 65,000 damage with 12k effective DPS. She also sports a split LD, where the first hit lands between 1 to 431 range, then 75 to 505 range, then 150 to 580 range. This allows her to hit all 3 of her hits between 150 to 431 range. The LD gives her pretty solid piercing, allowing her to even hit enemies that would be out of reach for most units. On top of this, she freezes for 1 or 1.2 seconds, then slows up for 3 or 3.6 seconds. This gives her the opportunity to chunk a lot of enemies before they even get a chance to act. She also comes equipped with Colossus and Behemoth Slayer. For her targets, she works amazingly for Excel, as her kit is built for this stage thanks to her wave and weakening immunity, but struggles on Mega Move. This is because of the constant zombie spam that will quickly eat away at her, along with the Professor A being present. Against her targeted Colossals, she sports 157,000 HP and deals 105,000 damage. She's also solid for Baron Seal, as she can keep the Angelic Gories in check. Her general Colossus Slayer stats give her 63,000 effective health and let her deal 58,000 effective damage. As one of the few non-true form Behemoth Slayers, she gains lots of value from the early game to even the end game. Her base Behemoth Slayer stats give her 73,000 HP and let her deal 91,000 damage if all 3 hits land. Against her targeted behemoths, these stats shoot up to 184,000 HP and 164,000 damage with 30k DPS. She is primed to deal with Rajukan, to the point where her first hit alone causes the ape to get knocked back. This effectively means she could deal 95,000 damage against Rajukan. Hazuku is a bit more iffy, as unless she's pinned to the base, then Juri's health pool will quickly get eaten away by this bird, especially due to the surges. Besides Rajukan, the wave immunity also gives her use for DNL, and weakened immunity gives her use for Kurokroc. We also see 2 new super rares, the first being Zangief Cat, a variant of Pizza Cat. Zangief trades Pizza's reposition ability for more raw stats, as base Zangief at level 30 sports 43,000 HP and deals 20,000 damage, compared to Pizza's 33,000 health and 15,000 damage. Zangief also sports 2 knockbacks compared to Pizza's 4. Seeing as they're a Pizza variant, they also sport massive damage, and in this case, against floating enemies. They deal 81,000 damage per hit against them, which is useful on enemies like Bun Bun variants. If you get them to a high enough level, like at level 50, then he has enough endurance to get well into an enemy's range and just hit them. At this level, he sports 68,000 HP and deals 32,000 base damage, or 129,000 effective damage. Zangief also sports a Savage Blow, which while only has a 10% chance to activate, will almost always trigger a few times in a battle thanks to just how many hits Zangief can get in. This bumps the base damage to 60,000, while against floating enemies, it bumps up to 243,000 damage. At level 50, this skyrockets to 96,000 general damage, while against floating to 387,000 damage. Overall, an amazing super rare that is worth picking up. Last is Jamie Cat, the other super rare added to the Street Fighter collab. This is a variant of Kung Fu Cat who is strong against Aku with Strengthen and Surge immunity. At level 30, they sport an effective 61,000 HP against Aku, and if all 3 of their multi-hits land, deals 26,000 damage with 4.6k DPS. Jamie works well enough on a good amount of Aku enemies, especially the likes of Condemned Pang and Aku Gori. However, against low endurance threats like Midnight D, he constantly loses damage output thanks to the multi-hit. Jamie also struggles a lot against Fallen Bear, since Jamie has a hard time even reaching him and dealing more than 1 hit, even if these 2 only have a 5 range difference. When Jamie gets below 40% HP, his damage against Aku spikes to 40,000. Jamie also has value as a high range semi-spammable Surge immune attacker, a role really only shared with Low King Dragon. This can give Jamie a valuable niche in stages that have main threats that surge, especially the likes of Cappy Jr. Jamie's 340 range does mean that he doesn't work the best against Cappy Kawano or Red Energy. Their multi-hit also makes them weak against Mini Angelic Cyclone, but besides these few enemies, Jamie's able to act as an amazing partner for Low King Dragon in piling on damage. Area attack also allows them to clear away any weaker peons, letting Low King Dragon's hit actually hit the main threats. This update sees the addition of 1 new true form, this being for Ken. Ken gains a 20% boost to his health, going from 81,000 HP to 97,000 HP, and a 33% damage boost, going from 36k damage to 48,000 damage. He also gains a 4.8 second weaken on his final hit and slow immunity. Ken as a unit has been a mixed bag due to a lack of survivability thanks to his short range, but all the extra additions he gains not only allow him to survive longer, but he could put more hurt as well. Ken has an effective health stat of 244,000 HP and deals an effective 88,000 damage with 14k DPS against red, floating, and angels if all 3 hits land. While his knockback was a way to provide him relief, it generally wasn't enough. With the addition of a weaken with 91% uptime, Ken is able to dampen a lot of threats that he'll be fighting, including enemies that outrange him. This ensures Ken is able to get more done on the field while keeping other shorter range units alive even after he knocks back enemies. Their slow immunity can also give them a nice boost in usage against specific enemies, mainly Professor A, whose slow can make it challenging for some units to get hits in. With this new immunity, Ken is able to regain ground and dampen the Anteater, allowing other units like Courier to get in and chip them down as well. This immunity is also nice for Queen Bee and Cleonel, and even Torcerial. Overall, this true form makes Ken into a more proper short-ranged fighter by giving him new tools needed to keep himself sustained and providing better support for your units. In order to get this true form, you just need 3 epic cat fruits. This update sees the addition of a brand new Ultra form, this being the Ultra form for Mizunade. They gain a 26% boost to their health to 121,000 HP, a 17% boost to attack, dealing 107,000 damage, a range increase of 450, a level 2 mini surge, Sage Slayer, and their resist being swapped for Insane Resist. As an Ultra form, their additions aren't the most spectacular. In terms of their ability to deal with aliens, they get way tankier, jumping from 481,000 HP to 853,000 HP against aliens, nearly doubling their effective HP. They also gain a level 2 mini surge, which is capable of dealing up to 43,000 damage if the mini surge lands both hits. Unfortunately, the practicality of it isn't all there, since it has a wide spawn radius of 250 to 850 range, which can cause it to miss very easily. They also gain Sage Slayer, which allows them to have 243,000 general HP and lets them deal 129,000 damage to sages. The main value this ability gives is not the ability to bypass Sage CC resist, but rather the general stat buffs, especially with 450 range. While they may go up to 1.7 million health against alien sages, the issue comes from the one alien sage that currently exists. Techno Hyena sports Counter Surge, which can wreak havoc by warping your units if they're hit by one of Misley's mini surges. Overall, the value of this Ultra form really comes down to how much you like Misley, as this form doesn't add all too much, but if you enjoy using Misley as a unit, then this Ultra form provides enough of a boost to give them a new niche as a Sage Slayer, but outside of this Ultra form can be skipped. In order to get this Ultra form, you need 1 green Behemoth Gem, 2 red Behemoth Stones, as well as 3 blue and Epic Cat Fruit. 3 units gain talents this update, these being for Demon Knight Cyclops, Cat God the Golden, and Meta Filibuster. First up is Cyclops. Cyclops gains Strengthen, Wave Immunity, and Cost Down, as well as general stat talents. Strengthen is a decent talent, as this talent activates at 66% HP, which means they get to use their boosted damage for longer than most. When all their attack talents are invested, they deal 126,000 damage per hit for a total of 252,000 damage if both hits connect. The boost in damage could usually just bypass most shields, allowing Cyclops to chunk, if not kill, a bunch of Aku enemies. Realistically, however, this damage goes to 138,000 damage per multi-hit for a total of 277,000 damage thanks to their solo massive damage combo. Wave Immunity is an ability pulled from their second form, which mainly gives them use against Death Quarry. Last is Cost Down, which isn't all too needed, as the decrease goes from 5,325 to 4,275. In most stages, if you can comfortably have that much cash, then the former price is just as attainable. The biggest boon is a lack of Surge Immunity, which will solve his main issue of melting against them, but as it stands, Strengthen and Wave Immunity are solid talents, while Cost Down is an easy skip. Then we get to see the addition of Cat God's talents. These talents are only unlocked once you have beaten Big Bang's Chapter 3 zombie outbreak. The talents he gains include Weaken, Dodge, and Curse Immunity on top of 80% stat talents. The Dodge has a 50% chance to activate for 2 or 2.4 seconds depending on the trait. This Dodge is a lot like Master of the Pacific's Dodge, not something to rely on, but can keep the unit alive for longer. Weaken is able to provide some utility, as the total time it lasts is 7 or 8 seconds depending on the trait he is targeting, as the length is long enough for some units to put in lots of work. Last is Curse Immunity, which mainly helps prevent a shutdown of his abilities. While CatGod gains a ton of improvements, especially due to him now being able to deal nearly 150,000 damage to a wide swath of enemies, the fact that it takes 2 business days for him to attack again still keeps him regulated to where he was already good even post talents, which is short range stages. Last is Meta Filibuster, whose talents are unlocked by beating the Filibuster's Zombie Outbreak stage, which is unlocked after beating all zombie outbreaks as well as a whole new world. Filibuster gains massive damage, 3 more seconds of freeze, and cooldown reduction, as well as 80% stat talents. Massive damage is the main highlight here, as even before the 80% stat talents, this allows Filibuster to deal 162,000 damage to both relics and traitless, which is some pretty solid damage. When these attack talents are thrown in, it further boosts the damage to 291,000 damage at level 50. This damage is extremely solid, especially when paired with the improved freeze. His freeze now lasts for 7 seconds, which gives him an uptime of 47%. The time itself is long enough to keep things stalled to rack up damage with your other units. Cooldown reduction is not necessary, as Filibuster still has a long cooldown of 131 seconds. In 95% of situations, the time difference isn't enough to warrant the NP spending. While Filibuster has amazing talents in a vacuum, the issue lies when you can get them. Considering you have to actively be in ZL and have cleared all the outbreaks, you will probably have much better options for Relic especially, mainly Nala, Esoteric Girl, and Ape Lord Luza. For traitless, it's a bit better, as Hitman is the only real competition, but Hitman alone usually crushes most traitless threats. Also, it doesn't help that it takes a business day for Filibuster to attack in the first place. One unit gains Ultra Talents, these being for Jester Queen Dale. She gains Miniwave, Colossus Slayer, and Curse Immunity. The Miniwave alone is an amazing addition to her kit thanks to the fact that it activates on every hit. This alone gives Dale a 20% damage boost, with her now being able to deal 81,000 damage with an impressive 20k DPS if all 3 hits connect. In terms of knocking back her targets, Dale is able to spam her attacks and can double juggle them, allowing you to very easily regain ground. As a Colossus Slayer, she has a much better matchup against many of the bosses. For them, her health gets bumped up to 137,000 with 108,000 damage and 26k DPS, or 130,000 damage with 32k DPS with the Miniwave talent. For Excel and Super Hypo, her rapid fire attack can keep these enemies in a state of near constant stuns, giving these bosses less chances to do anything. She's even solid for Baron Seal, as the main supports include Star Pang and Angelic Gories, who she can control easily, while dealing solid damage to the Seal themselves. Last is Curse Immunity, which, while situational, can allow her to be extremely useful for Giga Haniwan, as she can easily control the angels present in the stage, especially with their Wave Immune talents. Overall, these are all solid Ultra talents, and if you have the Dark Cat's Eyes and NP, they're a group of Ultra talents worth looking into. There are 5 new enemies, the first being Death Shun, a zombie variant of Dog Shun. They're an extremely bulky enemy who hits hard and has a rather far burrow range of 900 range with a gigantic range stat of 440. Then we have Dark Modelo, the first brand new enemy type that isn't a boss since Ariant. They attack your mid-range units with quite a bit of damage, encouraging rushdown units to deal with them. Then we have Camp Manager and Clerk, who simply freezes any unit who gets close. We also see enemy variants of Cammy and Jury. First is Cammy, who just deals a lot of damage. Then we have Jury, who will freeze and slow a ton of your units thanks to her wide area. Her damage is split across 3 multi-hits, but all 3 hits land between 150 to 431 range. Two new Zero Legends subchapters are added. The first stage is Lying Soliloquy, containing Celebutal, Dark Badillo, Dr. KO, Raging Gory, Reynard, and Dark Dober. Mid-Air Toss and Turn contains Rocco, Gabriel, Zori, Gobble, Zerziel, Professor Elberly, and Saint Dober. Dreams and Illusions has Ultra Baba, Diabrolo, Dark Badillo, Akudoge, Yukan, and Wicked Face. Snores and Prayers contains Celebutal, Crockley, as well as the trio of Mr. Puffington, Pubzerker, and Pubsley's Comet. No Sleeping In features Squirrel, Snake, Condemned Pang, Angie Lackey, Mega Baba, and the Behemoth. Last is The Dozing Love, featuring Doge Dark, Dark Modelo, Mistress Celebutal, Professor Alberly, Cosmic Cyclone, and codename Red Riding. The next subchapter is The Forgotten Republic. The first stage is The Deserted Bus Stop, featuring Shibalian, Gabrielle, Star Pang, Angelic Gori, Borifim, Gokuraku, Angilaki, Calamari, and Nimoy Boar. No Returns Library features Cerberus Kids, Doge Dark, Dogenstein, Shadowboxer K, Golem Sunfish, and Death Cory. Deja Vu Lunch contains Snage, Ginger Snage, Relic Doge, JJ Jackrabbit, Puffzerker, Professor A, and Dreadboar. Plaza of Q's contains Ginger Snage, Devil Wife, Mr. Angel, Condemned Pang, Sunfish Jones, Red Energy, Mini Angelic Cyclone, and the Surge Base. Awash with Keys features the Thrillers, Shibalian Elite, Zangru, Astromeda, Albrali, and Death Shunned. Last is the Motley Assembly. Those in attendance include Hani Wanwan, Ms. Devil, Dark Otter, Emost, Dark Badillo, Lenoir, and Shichiko. To coincide with the launch of the Japanese Battle Cat shop, some stages have been added to celebrate. Each stage nets a one-time clear reward of 30 cat food per stage. All of the stages are simple early game stages, with the most difficult stage only being a 4-star difficulty stage. The final stage is the titular Cat Manager and Clerk, as well as Squirrel, Doge Dark, and Teacher Bear. For the first new Street Fighter Expert stage, it is against Cammy. She fights alongside Shibalians, Those Guys, Lemur, and Imperator Seals. Then we have Jody, who fights alongside Snaches, Squirrels, Autosmackus, Dogshuns, and Albros. This update sees the addition of 2 new Otherworld Coliseum maps, the first being Payday. Ubers here have their cooldowns reduced to 20% their original cooldowns. For example, Kazli the Bane normally has a cooldown of 124.53 seconds, but in this Coliseum, her cooldown is reduced to 24.9 seconds. All units also start on cooldown, so non-Uber units like Bahamut will still have to wait on their full cooldown lengths before being able to be sent out. You also start with 266,730 cents, but you can't earn cash from enemies killed. Round 1 features Croxo, Sleipnir, Pubsley, Borfem, Taki, Darkjoe, and Puffzerker. Round 2 features Hanya, Trolley Blogger, Cappy, Gregories, Ursa Major, Bunbun Symbiote, Rain D, and Cumulus Gallus. Round 3 contains Cosmic Cyclone, Low Bunbun, Aki, the Faliverin, Relic Doge, Akugori, and Relic Bunbun. Clearing the stage both on 1-star and 2-star nets a rare ticket each in the Missions tab. Round 4 features Angelic Gori, Gabriel, Divine Cyclone, Ms. Devil, Cappy Jr., Medusan, Master A, Chibanel, Scissorex, and Midnight D. Round 5 features Zangru, JJ Jackrabbit, Doge Dark, Engabaru, Shadowboxer K, Dabu, Boar, and Kudokroc. Clearing the stage on 1-star grants 2 Platinum Shards, and on 2-star grants a Dark Cat's Eye through the Missions tab. The next Otherworld Coliseum is a lot simpler. This one is called Dirt Cheap, where the gimmick is that every unit costs 10 cents to be sent out. So units like Dia Ramos and Killer Gross can be used at a cheap cost. Round 1 features Mr. Angel, Ginger Snage, Professor A, Boar, Calamaria, Wing Piggy, and Saint Dober. Round 2 features Metal Doge, Doge Dark, Raging Gory, Toucan, Taki, Metal One Horn, Dober PD, Randy, and Master A. Round 3 contains Scissoroo, Boar Jr., Condemned Pang, Nimoy Boar, Grigori, Fallen Bear, Papo, and Orost. Clearing the stage on both 1-star and 2-star nets a rare ticket each in the Missions tab. Round 4 features Picacus, Zori, JJ Jackrabbit, Astromeda, Elizabeth the 56th, Cadaver Bear, DNL, and Dreadboar. Round 5 features Gobble, with both Wild and Relic Doge, Amost, Low Bunbun, Sorel, Hazuku, and Rajakan. Clearing the stage on 1-star grants 2 Platinum Shards, and on 2-star grants a Dark Cat's Eye through the Missions tab. A new Arena of Destiny is added, along with it comes a brand new set of ability orbs, which will be covered later. The stage itself has Mr. Angel, Celebutal, DNL, Chick-fil-A, Emost, Oldhorn, Calamaria, Relic Doge, and Red Energy. Bonus points are earned from using units with the Freeze ability. Units who inherently target more traits earn less points. Talents are excluded from this point reduction. The main stages that were added in this update was the introduction of Cats of the Cosmos 3 zombie outbreaks. This serves to conclude these outbreaks, and the new max energy cap is 1200. These outbreaks see some Relic and Aku enemies appear sprinkled in some of the stages. There are 4 notable stages in these outbreaks I want to cover. The first is Neptune. This stage is the earliest outbreak to feature Death Shun. Alongside them contains Wild Doge, Helmet Crab, Zoj, and Mesmocosmos Cyclone. Then there's Skelling, which is one of the 2 stages to see Ostromata. Aiding them includes Moth, Shibalion, Zakipang, Corporate Wayland, and Ariant. Then we have the Big Bang, which features final boss Giga God, who is supported by Zolo, Wild Doge, Starpang, Zori, Deathshun, and Mistress Celeboodle. Clearing this gives access to Cat God the Golden's talents. The last notable stage is the Filibuster Zombie Outbreak. This stage, unlike every other filibuster stage, has a large enemy limit. Specifically, this stage has an enemy limit of 17. The enemies alongside a 200% filibuster include Ultra Baba, the Thrillers, Gabriel, Deathshun, Zolo, Shibalion Elite, Ostromata, Dreadbore, and Lord Gravy. Clearing the stage grants both a legend ticket and Meta Filibuster's talents. For the first of these miscellaneous changes and additions, 2 brand new ability orbs are added. The first being production cost down, which reduces the cost of a unit by a specific amount depending on the rank. D rank is a 5% discount, C rank is a 10% discount, B rank is a 15% discount, A rank is a 20% discount, and S rank is a 30% discount. Then we have Surge Resist, which like the other resist orbs before it, gives a reduction to surge damage up to 50% depending on the rank. Units with full Surge Resist talents become immune to surges altogether. 1 new cat combo has been added, this being Cosmic Warriors with Pegasa and Space Major Cat. This is a starting money medium combo. Last are the new user rank rewards. User rank 25,900 nets 5 uber rare cat size, 26,000 nets a rare ticket, and 26,100 nets 5 legend cat size. The Neon Genesis Evangelion content from version 14.5 has been found in the game files. Still no sign of the new Bicurament content being added anytime soon. The Street Fighter content has not been found in the game files. It's neat that the outbreaks have come to an end for the foreseeable future, but outside of this update also bringing back the Street Fighter collab was also neat, and the fact that we get a second pizza out of it is even better, but I want to know what you guys think of this update. Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're down there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, as this lets me know this is the sort of content I should continue to make. Also, shout out to the following channel members: Dr. Deadly, Gamet, Ian Dean, Ninja Stars, Virus Opero, Just a Shark, Potato King, Gross Cat the Ultra, Tentacle Gaming, Etsushi, King Wolf, Janik Altenberg, Clamorous, Barely Grover, Jade Rabbit, Mustafa, and Re Gaming for being silver members or higher. If you want to receive a shout out like these channel members here, then become a silver member or higher today. Becoming a channel member supports what I do in a way that helps keep the lights on and allows me to continue making content for all of you to watch. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day.